I hope everybody can see my screen. Like I am just taking the IDE. Okay. So let me just write a program and for a program to demonstrate the use of pointers. Okay. So this is the program is regarding pointers. So currently we are dealing with currently we'll be dealing with only C++ pointers. It's not much difference, but in C++ we don't use that much in commonly as in C. But anyway, we'll see. Using namespace std in main, and I am returning from it. Okay. So this is a simple program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a pointer. So how will you declare a pointer? You select the data type to which the pointer is going to point to star ptr. Okay. So ptr can be any name. So I am just giving the pointer as ptr only. Okay. So so basically what I have did here is that you have declared a pointer or an integer pointer. So what is an integer pointer? So integer pointer points to a memory location which holds an integer value. Okay. So this is what integer pointer is. Now I'm also going to declare a variable, an integer variable, let's say a. Okay. And then I am saying ptr is equal to ampersand a. Okay. Let's say my variable has value 20. Okay. So this is basically declaration of an integer variable with value 20. Okay. Now this step where I said ptr is equal to ampersand a means you are making the pointer ptr points to the memory location of a. This is what is being done. And the ampersand sign, ampersand basically means that address of a. Okay. So I hope you have understood this much. Okay. So I have declared a pointer called as ptr by star. So star is called as um, so here I have declared with a star. So this, because of the star, we are telling the compiler that as ptr. The ptr is actually a pointer to a memory location which holds an integer value. So if you look at the variable a is an int declared, which means the a holds an integer value, and you are making ptr is equal to ampersand a. Okay. Now let's print out what all these things are. So I'm going to print first one, cout the value of a. So if I print out this, or let's say I start with the address of a. So if you look at the address of a, if you want to print the address of a, you say ampersand a. Okay, this is what the address of a. Now let's print out what is the inside, the value inside ptr is, if you put star, then you say ptr, then that is the value of ptr. So the value inside ptr, since ptr is a pointer, can be shown by having a star sign before ptr. So this gives the value inside ptr. Okay. Sorry, ptr gives the value inside the pointer ptr. Right. Now the next step is, if I want to look at the value of a, the value of a. then you just say A and you say print. Similarly, if I want to see the value which is, or the value inside the address pointed by PTR. So if I want to look at the value of the address inside PTR, you say star PTR. Okay, that will give you the value. Fine. So what we did, we are going to print out the address of A. We're going to print out what's the value inside PTR because we have assigned PTR is equal to ampersand A. Then we are going to find out what is the value of A. So basically we have assigned A is equal to 20. So you should get 20 here. Then we set the value inside the address pointed by PTR. So PTR is pointing to the address A. So what is the value inside the address pointed by PTR? So if I just compile, I forgot an include. Okay. Using namespace. Okay. So it has compiled. So just run, let me run this program. Okay. So if you look at this, the screen, you see that the address of A is something like in hexadecimal 70FE04. It might be some address which has been allocated by the operating system in the RAM for this running this program. And if you look at the value inside pointer PTR is same as that of the address of A. So that is why, that is because if you look at this statement in line number 17, it says PTR is equal to ampersand A. Ampersand A means the address of A. So we are assigning PTR is equal to the value or the address of A, which means the address of A and the value inside PTR is exactly same. Now, the value of A is 20. That is, the value inside this address 0x70FE04 is 20. And the value inside the address pointed by PTR is also 20. So now you can be sure that the pointer is pointing to A and the value inside the pointer or value inside the memory location of the pointer is 20. So when I did star PTR, which is this one, it basically printed out the value inside the address which is inside PTR. Okay, so that is regarded. That's how the pointer works. This is a very simple program. It can, like as I said earlier, the pointers can be very complicated. We should be very careful in dealing with pointers. If we are not careful, it will finally end up in crashing the program. Okay, fine. Now let me change this program and let me show you how we can use this pointer in the function. Okay, what is how we can change the way the function currently looks. Okay, so let me just delete all this. We are going to write a new program. So in this new program, what I am going to do is I'm going to create a function, and you know that in function you can the function can receive arguments, and usually when it receives arguments, it actually have a copy of what is being passed. But anyway, let's write a program. So I'm going to write a function to swap values of two variables. Swap means like you're exchanging. Okay, for example, if A is 10 and B is 20, after execution of this function, it should give me the values as A is 20, B is 10. Okay, just basically swapping. You are just exchanging the values of two variables. Fine. Okay. So let me declare two variables. Int A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. These are two variables. Okay. So let's begin. So let me print it out. Before swapping, Okay. Of A equal to, you print A, and the value of B is equal to D. Okay, so basically you're printing out what is the value when the program has started before the function swap has implemented. Okay, so let me write the function. First, I will show you without pointers and see what is going to happen, and with pointers what is going to happen. So I'm going to declare a function called as swap, and I'm going to take in two variables, int x comma int y. So how will we do the swapping function? What we can do is you declare a new variable called as int z, and you say z is equal to x is equal to y, then you say y is equal to z. Okay, so this has swapped the variables. So now at the end of the program, you will see that x will be whatever the values there in y, and y will be whatever there is value in x. Okay, so let me call this function from the main program, swap of a comma b. Now, after calling this function, let's see what are the values of a and b. Okay, so I'm just copying this print commands and I'm just going to paste it here. Okay, and I say after swap, what is the value of a, what is the value of b. And remember, whenever a function is called, for example swap, with arguments, the value of the first argument will be copied to x, the value of the second argument is copied to y. Okay, this is actually called as call by value, where you are copying the values. You are not changing the values inside the actual memory address of a. Instead, you are copying the values of a to a new memory address called as x, and similarly the copying the value of b to a new memory address called as y. Okay, this is how the call by value is being done. So if I run this program, semicolon, if I run this program, you see that before swap a is equal to 10, b equal to 20, and even after swapping, the a and value, b value is doesn't change. Okay, why? Because you are actually copying the values. You are not altering the memory value inside this memory. You are copying the value of a to another memory called as x, and then you're altering x. You are not altering a. So if I do something like this here, sorry. So if I do cout inside swap function, in this one, if I do the value of x is equal to x and value of y is equal to y. If I do this here, let's see what is happening. If I run this, you see that before swap, that is when inside the main function, when before swapping a equal to 10, b equal to 20. Now when I went inside the swap function and I printed inside swap function, which is printed here, and I said after the execution of swap, the value of x become 20, y become 10. Basically, the value of a and b has swapped, which is being copied to x and y. Okay, but it is not reflected in our main program. Right? It is not reflected here. The value is copied or swapped in this part, but it is not reflected here. Why? Because this is just a copy. Now, if I want to make it reflect here, what I will do is I'll put an ampersand here. Okay. So what it is saying is the value being passed from the call of this function is not to be copied, but it should be treated inside the memory location as it is. That means instead of copying the value of a to x, actually this memory itself is being passed. You can say something like that. Okay. For your understanding, I would say that the memory itself being passed to this function. This is called as pass by reference. Okay. Similarly, the memory is being passed. So if I make any changes in x or in y, then the value inside the memory is changed, and the memory is actually the memory of a and b. So it will get reflected in the main function also. So if I just compile, let's see what the output comes. If I just run, you see that before swapping a equal to 10, b equal to 20, inside the swap function it has already swapped, and after swapping, after calling that swap function, the value of a and b has actually swapped. Okay, previously you see that when we didn't have this ampersand sign inside the arguments, the value of a and b inside the main function was as it is before swapping function called. But once we gave the ampersand sign, whatever changes that you have done here for the x and y, it has reflected in the main function. Okay. So that means that you are actually went inside the memory location of a and b using the swap function, altered the value, and came back to the main function, because of which you will have the same values or different values of before the swap. I hope you have understood this concept. Okay, it's a very, very important concept. Call by function, call by value, and call by reference. It's a very, very important interview question also. They will ask a lot about this. But the basic understanding or the basic thing you want to understand is only this much. If you are doing call by value, let me write. Call by value means you are copying the values to the function. Copying means you are making a copy. You are not actually getting the values. You are not actually using the values which is being called. Call by reference means you are actually the original memory of the variable is being used. Okay, so copying the values to the function means you are actually creating a new memory variable inside the function, and the value is copied to it. Okay. In call by reference, you are not creating a new memory, but instead the original memory itself is used. So if you change something in the original memory, you will see that it will get reflected from wherever it is called. So you will see an advantage here. Let's say I want to return 4 values from this function, return back. Using call by value, you cannot return back 4 values because you can only return 1 value here. Instead, if you use something like this, where you have a call by reference, then whatever, how many ever variables have, you can pass any number of arguments in this one. So how many number of arguments you have passed, that much number of arguments will get changed inside this function, which will be reflected here. So you don't want to create a return statement. There is one advantage of that. Okay, so this is called as call by value and call by reference. So I hope you have understood that concept. It's a very, very important concept of call by value and call by reference. Not semester point of view or in placement point of view, it is very important concept. In C, you might have a different notation. Instead of star, you will use this like this. Okay, and you might pass it like this. I don't want you to just confuse both, but I'm just mentioning this and you pass like this in C. In C++, it is a bit different. Like in C++ also, you can use the star notation, but it's more uh, readability point of view. It is more advantageous in using the ampersand notation. Okay, so this is how you do. I hope you have understood this concept. This is called as call by value and call by reference. Now, I have told earlier that you see that A is an int value, B is also an int value. So when I called swap, I am accessing A and B using another integer pointers. So basically X and Y are pointers and it is accepting some kind of a address. Okay. So instead of int, you can have float or double or char, but the same should be there. Same variable declaration should also be there here. And you see a class has an object, and object is kind of a data type. Instead of an integer value, it is a class object. It's a data type which contains some private variables, private member function, public variables, and member functions. Okay, so you can create an object of a class here also, and you can pass that object to this. This is called as passing by reference objects. Okay, so before we go into that, let me just give a brief look into our slides so that you will have just have a revision of that. Okay, so let me just okay, I hope you can see my slides. Okay, so actually our module number 3 is pointers, virtual functions, and polymorphism, and we shall just give a brief description of what the pointers are. So pointers is a variable in C++ that holds the address of another variable. We have seen that. So inside the memory of a pointer, you have instead of a value, you will have an address of another variable. Pointers are a type of variable just like int, double, etc. Except instead of storing a value, they store a memory address of another variable. Okay. In this sense, a variable directly references a value and a pointer indirectly references a value. When you say int a equal to 20, you're actually directly accessing the value. But when you say star ptr, it actually means that you're indirectly trying to access a value inside another memory. So syntax of pointer is something like this: data type, and then you say star, then the pointer name. Okay. So how will you declare it? You say int star p, where p is a pointer variable which points to an integer variable. So you should know, or you should design yourself, where should this pointer point to. If it is pointing to a floating point value, then you should have float star p. Okay. If it is pointing to a char value, you should have char star p. And star means that you are telling to the compiler that the variable p is actually a pointer which will be holding an address instead of a value. So this is the var is actually a normal variable. Now, the problem with pointers is if you don't give an address to the pointer, then it will cause problems. So the pointer may be initialized to 0, null, or an address. That is very important. Okay, if you try to access a pointer which is not being assigned or initialized to any of the addresses, it will cause problems. So null is a symbolic constant defined in IOST to represent the value 0. A pointer that is assigned 0 or null points to nothing. Okay, if an address using an address operator, if you assign an address, then it will point to that address. Otherwise, you should assign it to be 0 or to be null. Okay, so ampersand is an urinary operator, returns the memory or address of its operand. So if you say ampersand a, it basically means the address of a. Now, this is a sample program which we have seen where you are assigning to a pointer an address. So you have a main function. You say y is equal to 5. You There's a variable called as y. Int star y ptr means that you are creating a pointer which will point to an integer memory location. And you say y ptr is equal to ampersand v, ampersand y, which means y ptr will point to the memory location of y. When I print cout star yptr, it will print the value inside y. Okay, so this is a normal variable. This is where you are initializing a pointer. Sorry, you are declaring a pointer. Ampersand y means you are getting the address of y, and you are putting the address of y inside yptr. When you say star yptr, it is going to access the value inside the address of y, which is basically the value inside y, which is 5. Okay, so this is that steps where whatever I have told in the previous slide. Okay, the star operator is called as the indirection or the dereferencing operator. Okay, so basically trying to dereference. This is the program that we have did. The variable name might be different, but it is the same program. But we have printed the values of aptr, star a, star a, sorry, a and star aptr. Okay, values and addresses. Now, ampersand and star are actually inverse of each other. It's just like multiplication and division. Okay, so if I do a multiplication by a number and division by the same number, basically you get back the original number. Similarly, if you put both of them together, basically you will get the original value. For example, if I do, let's say APTR contains the address of A, which is 0xAF for A. And if I do ampersand star APTR, it basically means APTR. It will just cancel each other. Okay. Now, this is the next thing that we have seen today. Basically, we are passing the pointers as arguments in functions. And this is called as pass by reference. Okay, pass by reference, we send the address of the variable as a function argument instead of copy of a variable. We are seeing that it is int ampersand x, int ampersand y. We are actually passing the address of the variable instead of copy. So when the argument is modified inside the function, the original variable itself is changed. So when I modify x and y, it is actually modifying a and b because the address is being passed or the memory itself is being passed. This is the swap program that we have discussed. So here you have a swap function, you have main function. A and b are two variables which is being declared. Okay, and then you are printing the values of a and b, which will before the swap function. So a will be 45, b will be 35. Now you call the swap function. When you call the swap function, the arguments inside the swap function is actually expecting an address because there is an ampersand sign. You can put the ampersand sign near to the data type or near to the variable, with both are totally fine. Okay, so it will accept the address of a and b, and which basically means if I try to access the value inside x and y, it is basically the address of a and b, and you can use that as, sorry, the value inside x and y will be the value of a and b because ampersand x is exactly same as that of a, address of a, and ampersand y is exactly same as that of the address of b. Okay, so here what you are doing is you are copying the value of x to z, then you are copying value of y to x, and you are copying back the value of z to y. So basically you have interchanged the value of x and y using a temporary variable z. Okay, so you have modified the values. Now since the address of x and y is same as address of a and b, both the change will get reflected inside the main function. So this statement will print a equal to 25, b equal to 45. Okay, fine. So there is a small homework for you. So you can look at this homework and try to do this. I am still to post the assignment for the last hierarchy, sorry, the inheritance stuff, but I'll post it. Now, next is, we have seen that we can create a pointer to an integer or a float or a character, etc. Now, is it possible to create a pointer to objects? Because objects means that it is some kind of a class. It's an object of a class which has private variables, private member functions, public variables, public member functions. And it is possible to create pointers to objects. Okay, so we'll see one by one. Okay, so let me write this code and then okay, so let me just delete all these things. Let me just delete this. Okay, then so this is basically we're going to look at something as pointers to objects. I'm going to define a class called as item. In this, there are a couple of private variables. So an item can have a cost, okay, and a code. Now the code can be an integer code, for example, 1, 2, 3, something like that. The price can be a float, like 5 rupees, 10, 20, or like 50 paise, something like that. So this is price. Okay. Now inside there's a public. I'm going to define two functions. One is called as get data. And I'm going to accept two variables here, int a comma float b. So in this, I'm going to assign the value of code is equal to a, the value of price is equal to b. Okay, and I'm going to, if a request comes to display what is the value, I'll just print out the value. You say code is equal to code, and you say price is equal to price. So basically, I have defined the class. I have created a member function to get the values of code of the item and the price of the item. I have created a member function to show the value of the code which is being generated and the price which is being assigned. Okay, so I'm going to create an object. First, let me create an object x. Okay, if I do x dot get data of, let's say my code is 100 and my price is 95 rupees 50 paise. Okay, and I say x dot show. Okay, so when I do get data, it will call the get data function. It will have the a value is equal to 100, b value is equal to 95.50. It will be assigned to code and price respectively. When I say x dot show for this object x, when I call show, the code value is equal to, it will be printed the code value, price is equal to, it will print the price value. So if I just compile this, and if I just run, you see the code value is 100, which is being assigned here, and the price value is 95.55 rupees. Okay, now along with x, let me create a pointer. Okay, let's say ptrx, pointer to, or pointer to item class. Okay, so I can say ptr item. If I put this, you see that ptr item is a pointer to object of the class item, And if you want to access any of the member functions or any of the data of this object, you need to put a arrow mark, very important. And then you say 200. Let's say my new price is 100.0. Okay, and I said ptr item hyphen show. Okay, if I run this, oh sorry, I forgot one thing. So you see that this pointer is not pointing to any object as of now, right? Because I have just declared that you want to assign, or you want to assign an address to it. So I'm going to assign the address of the object X. Okay. Now PTR is pointing to X, right? Now if I let me just comment out this line. If I just say PTR show, let's see what happens. You see that it has printed the same value twice. So what does it mean? In the first part, when the code is 100, price is 95.5, it is printed x.show, line number 26. The next one is from this line number 29, where you have accessed the original object of x using the pointer ptr item. And when you access x, it has already values 195.5. Okay, because you have assigned the ptr item is pointing to x. So when I say ptr item arrow show, it is basically x dot show. Okay, and then it will print the value which we have already put the data on. Okay, so if I remove this and let me run this, so I have changed the value of get data, change the value of x, and if I run this, you see that the values have changed. So ptr item get data have actually assigned a value 200 to the code and 100 to price. And when I say show, it has shown the value. Now, if I do again x dot show, what do you think it will happen? Okay, if I run again, you see that x dot show is also the same. Why? Because when I did ptr arrow show or get data, you're actually doing it inside the object x. You are not creating any new object because ptr item is pointing to x. And whenever you do anything with ptr item, it is basically as if you are doing anything with x. So when I do ptr item hyphen or the arrow get data, you are actually doing x dot get data. When you do ptr item hyphen arrow show, you are actually doing x dot show. Okay, so this is how where it is exactly similar as that we have seen previously, where instead of item it might be like int or float, but here we are actually using a class to declare a pointer to an object, and using that pointer you are going to access the objects variables and functions. Here you should be careful that when you are having a pointer, it should be accessed only by an arrow. If I put a dot here, let's see what happens. I think it will compile, but no, it won't compile. Okay, so it won't compile. So make sure you use a arrow operator. Fine. So let's go back to our I hope you can see this. So here you see that the same program, you have a class called as item. You are declaring two objects. One is a pointer and one is a normal object of class item. You assign the value of the address of object x to ptr. When I do x dot get data, with values. It will assign the values to code and price. It will also show the values when I do x dot show. But when I do ptr arrow get data, it is going to access the variables of the object x itself, and it will assign the values and it will show the values. Okay, so this is what the pointers to object means. Right? You can also pass the pointers to object uh, as an argument to the function also. Okay, so I think we'll stop it here, and we'll continue with the next part in the next class. I like to take your attendance. Just give me a second.